Hey class. All right. Well, I'm going to help you out here. This is a review on how to complete the square. Of course, we've been looking at doing this concept, but this time a little bit trickier when the leading coefficient is something other than 1. So in this case, the a value is 2. We've got 2x squared minus 8x plus 5. The first step, just like always, is to only have the x values on the one side of the equation. So that plus 5 doesn't belong. So we'll carry that 2x squared down. The minus 8x will stay put. And the plus 5 will subtract onto the other side. So we end up with equals a negative 5. All right. From here, we would kind of go through and complete the square by taking half of the b value and squaring it and adding it to both sides. But because that leading coefficient is something other than 1, it's a 2, we've got one more step to do first, and that's the factor step. So what we want to do is make sure that whatever that leading coefficient is there, that 2, we factor it out. So we have to factor it out not only of that x squared term, but also of the x term. So if we're going to factor out a 2 from that value, we're going to have a 2 on our outside. All right, we're left over with just x squared minus, but remember, I got to divide out that 2 from the 8. I have to factor that 2 out from that 8. So that's going to become minus a 4x, all right, is still equal to a negative 5. No need to factor out anything from the left side, or from the right side. I apologize there. All right, so that's what we have so far. Now, anything that's in the parentheses is ready to be used with completing the square. So what I could do is take that b value, which is now a negative 4, and I can divide it by 2, and I'll get a negative 2. Take that negative 2 and square it, and I ended up with positive 4. So that's the value that I need to do to complete the square. I have to add positive 4 right next to my 4x. And usually we would add a positive 4 over here as well, but there's one thing that's a little different, and that's the fact that we factored out a positive 2. So I don't really want to add positive 4 over here. What I really want to add is 4 times 2. I got to take that 2 and multiply that 4. So I don't want to add 4. I actually want to add 8. All right, so that's a little tricky. That's where it gets a little stuck. So from here, if I clean it up a little bit more, I can say this is 2 still on the outside of x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals, and then I have a negative 5 plus 8, that's going to be a positive 3. So I have completed the square. What I can do is kind of condense it down a little bit more, factor it out since I have my perfect square trinomial. And when I do that, the 2 still stays on the outside, and I end up with x minus 2 squared is equal to 3. So just that extra step in making sure you have to factor out the a value in order to continue with this process. All right, feel free to watch this a couple more times if you need to let it sink in. Coming up next, I have another problem for you right here, but I'm not going to solve it. I'm just going to give you the answer. So take a look at it, copy it down in your paper, 3x squared plus 18x minus 4 equals 0. See if you can follow through with the steps to solve it. I want you to pause the video and then unpause it when you're done, and you can check your solution. So go ahead and pause now and solve. All right, you've unpaused it, so hopefully you have the final answer, and we're going to check through that. Your final answer there is 3 times by the quantity x plus 3 squared equals a positive 31. All right, hopefully you got that. If you're still having trouble, why don't you ask in class, and we'll be more than happy to help you out with this in the future. So good luck with that. See ya.